Now let's pocket watch real quick. This one here is going to get really nerdy and finicky, but I'm going to need you to follow along and trust the process. Ultimately, I wanted to see how much these NBA teams pay per box score attribution, whether that be a point, rebound, assist, block, or steal. Now, how the heck do we do that? I found a list of every player's salary for the 2025-2026 season specifically. I then multiply that number by the amount of games their team has played so far this season and divided it by 82. That to represent that this far into the season, this player should have been paid this much money on a per game basis. I then even further divided that by the total sum of all their points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals so far this season. What we are left with is how much that player has been paid so far this season per box score attribution. For example, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been paid $10,177 per every point, rebound, assist, block, and steal he's had so far this season. Then, similar to like what I did before with age, height, and weight, I multiplied this number by the total amount of minutes they played so far this season to get a weighted contribution. I then added all the weighted contributions of a specific team and divided that by the total amount of minutes that team has played altogether. This gave me a weighted contribution for how much a team has paid per box score attribution so far this season. Now let's get into it. Disaster at the top. We all know how old the Clippers are. That also means that they're getting paid. And despite James Harden's best efforts, he's been balling as of late, they're still falling apart. 4-10 so far. They're paying their players literally more than twice the bottom 5 teams are for box score attribution so far this season. Literally, if there was anyone who was in more a do or die situation right now, it's the Clippers. And it's just, where do they go from here? The Lakers, here at second. Similarly, they're old and getting paid, but their record here is flipped. They're doing good so far this season. This is cool and all, but what I think is really fascinating is that LeBron hasn't even played yet. This table only takes into account players who have played so far this season. So once LeBron starts balling shortly with his $50 million plus contract, that number is only going to go up. The Knicks, the Magic, the Timberwolves, the Spurs, even the Raptors have been good as of late. The Cavs, the Warriors. What's really reassuring after the Clippers debacle at the top, the next 14 teams all have a record of 500 or higher. They may be paying more per contribution, but hey, it's panning out. Now, one key thing I want to harp on. I want to focus on the teams closer to the bottom with a winning record. I'm talking about the Rockets, the Suns, and the Heat. Now, the Suns here are just an anomaly. They're just doing good with what they got. Fred VanVleet has been out for the Rockets. And so as a result, they've been relying more on Reed Shepherd. And he's been coming through with his lower salary, which is great for them. But for the Heat, Bam Adebayo has only played 8 games so far this season. Tyler Hero hasn't even played so far this season. And Terry Rozier is still on the books. Yes, gambling Terry Rozier, who's not about to be back in the NBA anytime soon. They are forced to rely on the players who aren't making as much as the upper echelon, and it's working out for them. It's actually kind of great to see.